Hi guys, I'm Kyle and I'm explaining why Olaf does its gymnastics work in our metcons and what we're doing with these short sprints or um, uh, these like 3 minute, 4 or 5 minute workouts that we do on the airdynes, rowers, and when we do burpees. So the gymnastics work that you see in those metcons, where we kind of have a back-to-back, where we do some time of really short metcon, and then we have a break, and then we do work on the airdynes, rowers, or we're doing burpees, just something real simple in movement, is because in that first part of the workout, we're trying to be able to use the skill of the gymnastics that we're working on. So if we are finally developing push-ups, we want to be able to start using them in a metcon and be able to see what our numbers are and how long we can do it. It's short because I want you to figure out that short range of like, okay, when it comes to body weight movements, you kind of have a number where you get cashed out. So you got to figure out, okay, I can do 3 at a time with a very short break. So I can do 3 push-ups, and then the other movement, and then I can come back and do 3 push-ups to get my 6. And you can hold that for 3 or 4 minutes without falling off on your pace. So we use this day to kind of use those tools that we've been developing, push-ups, maybe pull-ups or muscle-ups, handstand push-ups, things like that, to practice them in a metcon that's short. So you can start using those tools. So that way, when it comes to things like Diane or Fran, you're like, all right, I understand a 21-15-9 of these pull-ups or these handstand push-ups, how to do it the best way I can do it. Then we take a break to kind of reset the system. And then what we do is we do some type of work where we're really trying to strengthen the heart with some sprints. We've done that before. We'll take a month where we're going to do just all-out sprints. Depending on your level, you're going 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute, something like that. And we're also building that up just so we get max heart rate. We need to train the heart to beat really fast. It is a muscle. We need to train it. And if we're never getting the max heart rate, we're never really pushing. Like when we get to that point where we're redlined and we're just almost cashed out, if we're never there training it, it's going to be a hard time to deal with it in something where you're doing a Diane or a Fran. You kind of lose what you're doing and don't know what that feels like. The reason we use airdynes and rowers and do burpees is because they're such simple movements. There's no kind of like, especially the airdyne, it is set at what it is. It's very simple. It's punching and pulling with the pedals going round and round. It's really hard to screw that up and hurt yourself doing something like that. Same with the rower, there is a technique to it. Same with burpees, there's also a technique there. But we do use those 2 other tools because we use them a lot in our conditioning, and it is something you need to develop. But we can do very similar things with training the heart because it really gets the heart rate up. But it's a very simple movement. The reason we don't do things like deadlifts or thrusters or things like that is those are more advanced movements. You need to know, if you're poor at doing a thruster, like say your front rack position's terrible, well, you're not going to stop because of your heart rate. You're going to stop because you can't get your elbows up high enough, your wrists feel like they're breaking, and you need to put the bar down because your wrists hurt. Not because you're at max heart rate and things like that. So we kind of take out any possible errors or things that could go wrong in a movement by doing simple movements like an airdyne, a rower, and burpees. So we will also, with the training, so some weeks or some months we build that heart rate so we get max heart rate, and then other months what we'll do is try to draw out 80 to 90% of that heart rate and see if we can kind of get our heart trained to hold this pace for a longer period of time. That way we're really training our heart to be nice and conditioned and We just want it to be nice and sound, and we don't want when we start breathing heavy and things start going south in something like a benchmark workout like Diane or Fran, we know what to do. We've been here, we know how to get control of our heart rate and kind of settle it back down, and we know it's not, you know, something that's random that we've never experienced before. So I hope this makes sense. I know I rambled on a lot here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, kyle@crossfitolaf.com, and yeah, have fun with your training, guys.